United Nations Refugee Agency says the core of the European migrant crisis is in Libya and not the Mediterranean Sea. Well, this comes as around 1,400 boat migrants arrived in Italy's Catania port today. The migrants disembarking a Coast Guard ship were part of more than 4,000 people who have been plucked from boats in the Mediterranean in the past days. Their arrival comes as the Italian government, looking to stem the flow of migrants into the country, has drawn up a draft code of conduct for non-governmental organizations operating in the Mediterranean. The 11-point plan is expected to be presented in the coming days to some 9 NGOs who regularly deploy rescue boats to international waters just off the Libyan coast.
In Catania, we are assisting and receiving over 1,400 refugees and migrants. This is a result of the several rescue operations that were managed by the Italian Coast Guard together with NGOs, together with the assets of UNAFOR-Med. Of course, for Italy, this is a big responsibility to share. On this regard, we fully support the government of Italy in its requests for a better solidarity. Basically, in Italy, we need more solidarity from the rest of the European Union. In Libya, we need more stability, but we also need in the whole Africa a better investment in order to help people to stabilize.
The heavily fortified country estate of Gambia's exiled former leader, Yahya Jammeh, is littered with evidence of the eccentric authoritarian's extravagant lifestyle. Well, this comes as Gambia's new government, with backing from the World Bank and the United States, seeks to claw back assets they consider looted.
In Gambia have begun seizing properties belonging to the country's exiled former leader, Yahya Jammeh, in an ongoing drive to regain assets that officials say Jammeh acquired using state funds. Kanilai is one of the properties recently visited by authorities. The heavily fortified property was littered with evidence of the eccentric authoritarian's extravagant lifestyle.
It has been alleged that so much property has been amassed by the former president to himself for personal aggrandizement. But then, I will not be in a position to be judgmental. I could only speak on what I've seen so far on face value. But then the extent of all of these things would come out at the end of the exercise when a determination would have been made in terms of the property in issue, and that would now be left to whatever recommendation is made with respect to the properties that may be confiscated or otherwise.
Jammeh, accused by his opponents and rights groups of widespread human rights violations and corruption, fled Gambia in January as regional forces descended on the capital Banjul to ensure the results of an election he lost. He now resides in Equatorial Guinea. Kanila, with its farm, mosque, tanks, multiple residences, a jungle warfare training camp, and a vast private safari park housing exotic parrots, zebras, hyenas, and camels, is Jammeh's most elaborate estate. By the end of his 22-year rule, authorities believe Jammeh had acquired some 200 residential and business properties in the tiny riverside nation, nearly half of whose 1.8 million people live in poverty. Officials are still at an early stage in their investigations with more questions than answers, like how the former government allegedly siphoned off more than $100 million from state firms. The Finance Ministry has already said it intends to sell some of Jammeh's ill-gotten properties as tourist sites, as well as 4 airplanes. Those living in Kanilai say they welcome the investigations into Jammeh's assets and hope it will go towards bringing justice. Many Gambians believe Jammeh drew out exit talks for days in order to pack his belongings, including a cargo plane from Chad loaded with luxury cars. Now believed to be with Jammeh in Equatorial Guinea, those assets too are likely now out of the reach of investigators.